All right. Hey, everybody. It's Coach Adam, club head coach here at Mount Hamilton. I'm here with Kyle Bekker, team captain and Canadian professional. Hey, Kyle, how are you?
Pretty good. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So, everybody, just so you know, this is team captain for our Forge FC. Kyle's played in the MLS with Toronto FC. He's played FC Dallas, Montreal Impact. So basically, you've had quite a career. Is soccer something that you'd always know that you were going to pursue and be in?
Oh yeah, kind of when I grew up, it was really the only thing I ever wanted to do. So it was always a dream of mine. Obviously, when I was growing up playing, there was not necessarily what we have in place today. The MLS was just starting up. There wasn't really any team in Canada yet. There obviously was no CPL like what we are lucky to have now, and what we've just started last year, and what we're going to continue to grow, which is fantastic. So it was definitely something I loved. It was definitely something I loved doing, and always wanted to do for a living. But at the time, it was always just a dream, right? It was tough to figure out how I was going to do it.
You mentioned growing up. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
So I was born in Oakville. Grew up there for my whole life. Yeah. So I grew up. I played for Oakville Soccer Club. Our team was the Oakville Blue Stars. So I did all the similar stuff you guys over there at Mount Hamilton are doing. Played in the tournament in Hamilton a bunch of times. Yeah, did all that, and then from there I ended up going to Sigma Academy, which is not what it was when I first started, what it is now. But it was great. It was the start of that, and then from there was able to go to get a scholarship in a university in the States at Boston College.
Good stuff. So I always make sure that because I'm a Forge supporter too, I make sure that Mount Hamilton, we support Forge. I think it's an amazing sort of pathway that we have here now for our youth players that are watching this right now. First off, I'm going to congratulate you for being forever first.
Yeah,
For me,
thanks.
for me, growing up in Hamilton, watching someone like you from around the area become a champion was amazing. What was it like, or what is it like to be forever first?
Well, I mean, obviously it's great. I think guys who've played the game professionally, guys who've been in the game for a while, know it's hard to play for a championship. It's when you're growing up, when you're on the best team, you're winning all the time. I think you kind of take for granted how hard it is to actually win at the highest level. So that was fantastic. Obviously, coming back, being a part of the first team to ever do it in the CPL is huge. We made history. It's something that is going to keep this group of guys together for forever. I'm sure there's a bunch of hockey fans, and in this bizarre time of COVID and seeing everything online like this, there was actually the Bruins NHL team who won the Stanley Cup did one of these last night, and they had everyone from that team
Wow.
on, and it was great. So it's little things like that you don't necessarily think about that make it even more special. Um, and yeah, and then just being a part of it with so many guys who I've had relationships with over the years, and local guys too. So it's fantastic.
Uh, you were obviously speaking about football, and I always like to ask this question. And it's not an easy question, but can you describe football to Kyle Bekker in one word? There's a lot of words you could use, I know, but if
Yeah,
there's one word, could you describe it?
beautiful.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that too. Um, so growing up in Oakville, very much like where we are in Hamilton, it's really, and I say this, it's really in front of all of our players. Um, was there any player that you watched and would emulate and aspire to be like at a professional level when you were a kid? Like, who was your idol?
Yeah, definitely. My idol growing up and to this day is Dennis Bergkamp. He was my favorite player. For whatever reason. I mean, my dad has. Huh?
Do you look a little bit like him? Is that what they do?
Who knows? Yeah, man, that guy was. I love them. I love watching them play for Arsenal. I love watching them play for Holland in the World Cup. A big memory in my life that sticks out is that goal he scored against Argentina in the 1998 World Cup. That's something. It was one of those moments where watching it, I went crazy, and then immediately you're outside on your front lawn, you're trying to recreate it by yourself, throwing the ball over your shoulder, take it down, do all the stuff, celebrate, sliding on the grass. It was that was that's a big one for me.
Um, you mentioned sliding on the grass and celebrating. Um, are you still got that hype and the buzz from being a champion of the first ever CPL? Is your focus now moved on? What does it feel like to be in that sort of the season after being a champion?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Obviously, looking back on it, you have a lot of emotions. You're happy, you're proud of what you did. But I think the great thing is we've kind of set a standard for ourselves in the club, and to be a part of this and be able to kind of be in it at the ground floor and hopefully be around for a few years to come. Winning it the way we did in the first year, it sets the foundation for what we've wanted to achieve here in Hamilton, which is we aspire to be the best club in the league, the best team in the league in every way possible. And as a player, obviously, the most things that we can control is what we do on and off the field and what we're doing in the locker room and the environment we create. So you obviously want to be a champion. So to be able to do that and set the tone, we've kind of set the tone for guys who are coming in, whether it's this year, next year, whatever it may be, is that's that championship mentality that we have now. So we have that groundwork, and it's kind of what we do day in and day out to achieve that. And if you're coming in, you want to have that environment so they see it right away. They hit the ground running. They know what's expected of them. And yeah, it's exciting. We know we want to do it again. I think we're a lot of guys, and I'm going to speak for everyone here. Is we're kind of over talking about it. We want to get this thing going again so we can kind of move on to year two and hopefully repeat that same thing.
So you mentioned challenges, and I mean, right now, the entire world is going through a challenge in terms of COVID. But let's get specific to what challenges in your career did you have to overcome to be well where you're at, but even to get where you were, because you've been a professional for a number of years now. And what were the challenges you had to overcome?
Yeah, I mean, there's tons. I think the list goes on and on. Just as an athlete in the game, there's going to be ups and downs. They're going to be day to day. They're going to be week to week, month to month, year to year. Just something as simple as someone telling you you're not good enough for whatever reason. It's all right. How do you prove that guy wrong? You're always going to deal with setbacks. It's always just a matter of can you get back up and keep going at it. And I think the biggest thing that obviously it's taken some time, but it's trying to just be better than you were the day before in any single aspect. So whether it's all right, I'm going to get in earlier, I'm going to stay later, I'm going to work on something a little bit more. So it's just those little incremental differences that you can always improve on, no matter how old you are, how many years of experience you have. You can always be learning.
I like to obviously let all my players know that you got to show character and persevere and sort of keep your head held high and believe in yourself. I'm sure there's some days that are tough as a professional, but I mean I'm sure there's some glorious days as well. What kind of things are you doing, or even as a team or as a team captain, to ensure as captain that your players now during this COVID-19 are staying active, are, staying on the program? So as captain, what kind of role are you taking in this period?
Well, honestly, I gotta give a lot of credit to our coaching staff right now. I mean, obviously these are unprecedented times. It's the world, the unknown right now, and the reality is in times like these, obviously soccer takes a back seat to the real people who are stepping up and making sure that we're all safe and can go back to normal as soon as possible. But in our world, I think it's just I think we got a great group. So to be honest, there's not too much that I necessarily need to kind of get out and say. We have a group that is bought into what we've wanted to do. So guys are accountable. Guys are doing their work. We're doing yoga on Zoom the way that you guys are seeing. I think across social media, a lot of teams are doing it, and it's just a way to be engaged and to continue to kind of work with each other. So no one's really on their own. No one's on their own island. And then outside of that, it's just guys just talking to each other in a group chat to kind of keep that mental side of things going. We have a few guys who are away from home who are probably feeling a little lost right now. You kind of do this thing, and it's kind of what you said before. It's the things you've dealt with. So they've sacrificed leaving their families to come over here to further their career and put themselves in a better situation. And something bizarre like this happens and slows everything down. And I'm sure they're kind of wondering what they're doing sitting here in Canada waiting for this league to get back up and running. But we again, I can't say it enough. We got a great group of guys, and everyone's kind of been looking out for one another, making sure we're active, staying as busy as possible in these times, and just knowing that sooner or later we'll get back on the field.
I want you to take me on a game day from start to finish with Kyle Bekker. I mean, it's the moment you open your eyes, or even before you go to bed, like what goes on?
So the night before, I would say I just like to get a good meal in. I like to cook. I don't really have a superstitious meal, so it'll change honestly every single game day. But yeah, so make a nice little dinner, hang out, watch some TV. And as I've gotten older, I know I've realized the importance of sleep. So definitely like to get a good sleep in. Try not to stay up too late. Ideally, if I can be in bed and asleep before midnight the day before, it's best. And then get up, have a nice breakfast, and then either do a little workout if we're on the road and there's a gym available. Get a little stretch and foam roll if I'm at home, and then go for a little walk. Come back, make some lunch, and then just relax. Drink as much water as I can the day before and in the morning, and then just hang out and start thinking about the game.
As you mentioned game day, I started to think about the amount of game days that you've been in, big games. Something that comes to mind is the fact that you played for Canada. It's every young Canadian soccer player's dream to play for their country. And what was it like the first time that you got in the dressing room and you saw that, Bekker on the back? What was that feeling like when you put it over your head and you kind of took a look at yourself?
It was awesome. I mean, I think it made it a little bit more special. My first game for the men's national team, we actually played against the States. So it was just growing up, obviously Canadian, that rivalry and what it means. And then just be able to put on the jersey and see the crowds there and hear the national anthem when you go out and you're lining up. It's surreal, man. It's awesome. I've always been a very proud Canadian. So to be able to do that and represent the country is something I'm always going to hold pretty close to my heart.
How does being a professional athlete make you a better person?
Oh, that's a big question. I mean, I think just sports in general. I think there's so many life lessons you can learn being a part of a team and playing soccer. Just the sheer fact that when we're our best, let's say I'll use Forge as an example. When we're at our best, it's everyone's chipping in, everyone's doing their job, and you're working for the guy next to you. You kind of, as an individual, you kind of take the back seat to the collective, and we know that when we're all doing our job, we're going to look our best. So it's little stuff like that. And then obviously there's just so much more of it. It's learning how to be respectful and look out for the guy next to you. It's knowing how to hold yourself accountable in tough situations and little things like that. I mean, pretty much all of my life lessons I've learned through this game.
That's a bang on answer there. It doesn't have to be soccer, but what is important to Kyle Bekker in life?
Doesn't have to be soccer?
Yeah. Well, it can be whatever you want. What's important?
Yeah, I think so. To me, it's my family, my friends, and then honestly, soccer is it's right up there. It's the three of those. It's am I enjoying it? Am I happy? Am I doing what I love? And then do I have the people that I care most around me? I think that's always something that's been important to me. I don't really have a massive support group, but the ones I have, I make sure they're close and make sure we're talking, and all of them are are safe, happy, and healthy.
I'm just kind of getting to the end here to wrap it up a little bit, but all our players this year or last year started, especially the fact that we had, the CPLs come in. It's like a new aura around Hamilton soccer that's sort of uplifting players to understand that, look, if you go downtown, there's Tim Hortons Field, that one day you can play at Tim Hortons Field. And what advice do you have for a young player aspiring to play as a professional in the CPL? What advice can you give them?
It's I think we kind of touched on it earlier about how when we grew up there wasn't really this professional landscape. So just the sheer fact that we have it now, of what that actually means and the weight that carries, is unbelievable. I think both of us would have been killing for that opportunity when we were young, and we were like, week in and week out you could go down to the team you supported and support your professional team and see what it meant to see those lights and those guys getting prepared and going to battle on a Saturday night, let's say. So just the sheer fact that we have that, and we have it in a city like Hamilton that loves its teams. They've shown this year that they want to support us. They've got behind us just like they do with the Ticats, which is fantastic. And then just from a development aspect, I would just say if you're watching, obviously the professional of it, just see as much as you can, right? You want to take in as much of as many aspects of the game as you can, and then when you're going away, you're practicing on all the little stuff. It's the fine details. It's passing and receiving. Can you play to the correct foot? Are you comfortable on the ball in those situations? It's not necessarily can you rainbow a guy and do all the crazy stuff that we're seeing on social media these days. I think that creativity will come out as you get comfortable on the ball, as you're good with the fundamentals. Can you do the simple turns? Are you good with both feet? Things like that, and just continue to grow. I mean, just play as much as you can, watch as much as you can, absorb as much information as you can. I don't think there's one necessary league you should be watching more than the other, because every single league has its own thing. And then now that we have this, that's got to be your goal, right? You want to be able to do it in your own backyard and then go on and do bigger and better things. And I'll use a guy from our team as an example, in Tristan Borges. I mean, he took the opportunity of what this league was, and we all saw him. He was fantastic. He was an unbelievable player, and he did great things. And it kind of pushed him on to do better. And he's going to further his career and keep developing and see how high he can go.
I think you touched on a lot of stuff there that the players, the parents, coaches, whoever is watching this, that they're really going to soak in, because it's coming from somebody who's living in that world. So I'm pretty much done here. I just want to say thank you so much, Kyle, for coming out. I personally love coming out to watch Forge FC. I make sure the whole club is aware of what's going on. We're coming out there and we're singing songs for you guys and making sure that the environment is fun. But I just want to say thank you. This is our captain, Kyle Bekker of Forge FC. Any other advice you have, we're more than welcome to have it out there. But as a club, I want to say thank you very much. Thank you for all the hard work you put in, and thanks for making us forever first too.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me. Just to all the young kids out there, just keep going, keep working day and night. If you love it and you want it hard enough, it'll happen for you.
Awesome stuff. Thanks a lot, Kyle.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.